Welcome to another episode of the Pro Physique Code. I am one of your hosts, Coach. I'm going to start over. How about that? Okay, Lexie, you can just edit that out.
Got it.
Welcome to another episode of the Pro Physique Code. I am one of your hosts, Coach Rachel, and I'm joined by three of our amazing prep coaches, Coach Dani, Coach Lexie, and Coach Evan. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. Excited to be here.
Yes, me too.
Right.
So today is a special episode. By the time this has been released, we will have announced on our Pro Physique Code Instagram that we are changing and rebranding, quote unquote, the podcast. So still going to be called the Pro Physique Code, obviously, but we are moving forward into a consistent host setup. So we are going to be your hosts for the foreseeable future for everything prep related. So we're going to have two different tracks of podcasts. One will be the lifestyle track for anyone who is not a competitive bodybuilder or not interested in competitive bodybuilder things. And then we'll have this series, the prep series, that is going to be all things prep, bodybuilding related. And that way we can organize our thoughts a little bit better and you guys can get to know us as your favorite hosts ever. But we will, from time to time, have some other hosts, some guests on. So I am super excited to see just how this new setup goes. And I hope everyone listening likes it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be fun.
So let's get into, yeah, me too. Let's get into our topic and just kind of shoot the shit a little bit. This is like our first podcast all together, us four. And we're talking about embarrassing prep stories.
Yes. This is going to be fun. I hope this one is fun. I hope you guys laugh. I don't know. Who wants to start us out? Does anybody have one, like a prep story that really stands out to them? I have a couple, but I feel like you guys may have me beat on a few.
I think Dani should start.
Yes.
Well, actually, what's funny is mine isn't about me. It's about my husband.
Perfect.
Like my best
We love
story.
it.
My best stories, honestly, because I'm kind of like Evan. I don't really have anything that embarrassing for myself. The stuff for myself is just more like fails in terms of what I did on show day that I recommend not doing, such as spraying your
We can
face.
talk about those too.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, so definitely have a few of those. No, probably the best funny one is, so the first prep I ever did, it was 2012. My husband did it with me, which we were not married at the time, we were just dating, and
The ultimate
it was
relationship
him. So
test.
he
Tester.
do what?
The relationship tester.
Said the ultimate
Oh, it was-
relationship tester.
Yes, absolutely. We knew that if we could get through that together, then we're good. But he is obsessed with peanut butter, like a lot of bodybuilders are. And when we got like deep into dieting, there was two different times when I would wake up in the night and I'd look over and he wouldn't be next to me. And I walked into the kitchen to see like what the hell he was doing because I saw like the pantry light on. And he was sleepwalking in the pantry, fist first, hand into the peanut butter jar, butt ass naked.
His entire fist.
Entire fist.
Oh
He was
my
naked.
gosh.
It was like 2 in
Nothing
the morning.
on but a jar of peanut butter.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's
Are you sure he was
Oh my
actually
God.
sleepwalking or was that the excuse?
That's a good question. I still don't know to this day.
Sounds like something I would say I was sleepwalking.
I don't know.
Oh
It happened.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
It's not my fault I was sleepwalking.
Yes, exactly. I didn't mean to do it.
Yeah. The second time
Oh
it
my
happened, I woke up and knew exactly what was going on. And I just walked in, looked at him, and I like startled him. He like jumped, which was even funnier. Yeah. And then I just shook my head and walked off.
Oh my gosh. Did he have any like awareness the next day that he had done that?
When I brought it up to him, he was like, "Yeah, I guess I kind of do vaguely remember that, but that's just not right." I think it was one of those things where he was like half awake, half asleep, thought he was dreaming, but wasn't sure. I don't know. But
It was a good dream, just being able to eat all the peanut butter you want, have it not matter.
Yeah, I don't speak, kind of piggyback. It's not really the same subject, but I was actually thinking about making a post about this today. Because I'm like 3 weeks post-show, and there's not a night that goes by that I don't wake up in the middle of the night and just raid a pantry. I don't go crazy with it, but
Every night? You do this every night now? Is that what you're saying?
It's not that bad, but
What do you go for? Like, what do you go
Yeah,
in
tell
and
us
raid
tell
the
us
pantry
a story of how it goes.
okay. Well, purposely, I don't keep a lot around because I have the willpower of a toddler when it comes to food when I'm very hungry. So that's why, like in prep, I won't keep anything around the house that I would want to eat.
Just prep food.
Yes,
Yeah.
just prep food. So no. So unfortunately, I last night was what was last night? Last night was
Wednesday.
actually clean food. Yeah, last night I actually got up, made like chicken and rice, and went back to bed. So that one wasn't bad. But
Yummy.
if I buy like 6 donuts, like a 6-pack of donuts, that whole 6-pack of donuts is getting eaten that night. There's no way. There's no way.
That's
So I gotta
so
stay
Well,
away from
yeah.
all of
I
it.
mean, you're buying a 6-pack of donuts. You're a large human. I mean, you got to eat them all.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly right. That and Oreos. I can't get any of that stuff around because you buy.
But you're cognizant, like you know you're doing this.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wait a
It's
bit.
making the adult decision that I need Oreos in this moment. I
Yes.
need donuts in this moment.
Yes. So I try to not keep any of that stuff around. But it's just, and then I go back and I hate myself the next day for it because all I do is just sweat all night. It's just the most miserable
my
experience.
gosh.
of my life.
I've definitely had the sweet sweats or like just the overeating sweats when I've had those moments as well. Also post show, your heart rate is just like so fast. You're like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
Yes. Yes.
Like
So
I've
that-
definitely had that.
And I'm fine during the day. It's just I wake up in the middle of the night starving for some reason, and it's just it's a nightmare with it. But
That's
my weight's
funny.
only up like 4 pounds from stage, so I'm not complaining too bad about it. I'm not doing something too terrible, I
Yeah,
guess.
it was definitely not that bad.
yeah.
My first ever
Yeah,
prep, I definitely I was with a terrible coach who's very restrictive. It was my first show. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what getting lean was, or how it would feel. And I'd probably cheated on my diet like a million times. Like I regularly would eat multiple, almost a full jar of peanut butter myself, like Kyle. And it wouldn't be in the middle of the night. It would just be in the middle of the day. I was a personal trainer, and so I had that split schedule. And so I'd come home in the middle of the day. I'd be so hungry because I got up at like 3 or 4, and then just eat a full jar or like a whole box of cookies. There were a lot of moments like that in that prep. But then I learned that, I think I need a little bit more flexibility in my diet in order to be successful. And that's when I ended up finding Paul as my coach later on for the next show. But yeah, that was probably the most embarrassing thing at the time because I was like, man, and no one else cheats on their diet. I thought that in my head, like no one cheats on their diet. I'm the only one. And it just felt like I felt so disappointed in myself and like I was not cut out for this. And it was like, I must be wrong to be in this bodybuilding sport. And then like, as soon as I got on stage for that show, I didn't do too badly. I got like 7th out of 14. So it wasn't dead last at least. But, that's when I realized like, okay, I really want to do this. This is really fun. This is cool. I bet I can do it without cheating on my diet, but I just need a different coach. And that's kind of what led me to the next one, which is Paul.
Actually, I do have an
nice.
embarrassing prep story about myself now that you mentioned this. It's been a while, but yes, I do have one of them. Yes. So,
From the first prep?
yes, first prep. That's what kind of.
I feel like they're all from the first prep.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I've had some other times too, definitely. But the first one was probably the most embarrassing.
I had a similar experience to you. I had a coach, and I'm really grateful for him. I mean, he taught me a lot. But up front, he was very restrictive. He was very restrictive the whole time. But he told me, for the first 30 days, he's like, I want you to do no carbs and no sodium for the first 30 days. And I said, okay. So I did that. And then he just kind of forgot to update me. So I just was supposed to keep doing that. Then he finally did update me and forgot to tell me to add sodium back in and everything else. Just forgot that part of it. And so this was like a week before the show, and I remember sending him an email. I just broke down, and I just kind of moved to Tampa, and we had a corporate apartment. I was still back and forth for work, and the guy I was living with at the time did not eat well, and he had a whole tub of ice cream in there. And I woke up and walked downstairs and ate the whole tub of ice cream in the middle of the night, like 7 days out from the show. And I said,
my gosh.
man, I did this. And he was like, now's not the time for this. And I was like, oh, I know it's not. I know it's not.
Now
7
is
days
not the
out.
time.
Yikes.
That is legitimately the only time I've ever cheated on a prep diet, but it was a big one. But that
Yeah.
going back to
A whole
just that
tub
he
of
was
ice cream.
so overly restrictive that
Yeah.
I felt like, and it was my first prep,
You
right?
needed
So,
it. It's like
yeah,
crack.
I needed it. I couldn't stop. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I was gonna have one bite, and that one bite turned to 2 bites, turned to 3 bites, turned the whole garden.
Oh my
Anytime
gosh.
you have to tell yourself, oh, it's just going to be one bite, it's usually it's not going to be a good experience, I feel like.
Yeah. I learned a lot about
Correct.
myself and the fact I can't have just one bite of anything. I just don't
Yeah.
touch it. Yeah.
Yep,
Something
yep.
I can't.
That's my first prep, it was a little different because I don't know why I decided to do it when I did, but I was living in a dorm room and that's when I prepped for my first show, but it was like it wasn't a nice dorm room, it was a triple, so it was like a shoebox with 3 beds. So I had my little microwave and I had my mini fridge. I had my own that I didn't share with my roommates, and I had a meal plan because you had to have one, like a meal plan through the school, right? Like with meal swipes in the cafeteria, because you had to have one if you lived on campus. But I didn't really use mine that much. I would walk to Publix because I didn't have a car at the time either. So I'd like walk to Publix with my backpack and lug my groceries back. And then I ended up starting to use the cafeteria food because they had like a salad bar. So I would get my produce there. And they would give you a little to-go box, and like I would stuff that thing so full. I would even take like the cups they would give us that we could put fountain drinks in, and I would stuff it full of spinach. I would get like all my spinach from there, and yeah, it was, my roommates were really great at like tolerating me. Not that I feel like I was difficult, but they were totally
Lexi's
different.
so hard to tolerate.
Yeah, like
So hard.
well, they were really sweet. Like they did not question it, and like they would bring me little like treats or drinks from like little mixers that the dorm room would have. They'd bring them to me, and I'd just be like, oh, thanks, and then just like secretly kind of throw it out or whatever. But yeah, it's one of those scenarios, like I look back and I'm like, I really don't know how I did it, because having no car, having to walk to the grocery store every time I needed something in the Florida heat, and then having to like have everything condensed into a mini fridge and then use a microwave. It was rough. It was humbling, to say the least.
Well, it also shows too that like you can do prep even with the worst circumstances, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people
Yeah.
say like, oh, I can't do that. I can't prep my food, or I can't get this meal in, or I can't get that workout or that cardio in. It's like, you probably can if you just work your schedule. If you like make a few sacrifices, like walking to the store in the heat, or buying a mini fridge and keeping it separate, or whatever, all of the little things that you did to make it work. Most people can make it work if they really want it bad enough, and if they think about it a little bit more than like whatever's convenient, right?
Yes, agreed. And I actually that first prep, so I was in Tampa. I was at the University of Tampa. My first show was in Orlando, so had to drive a little bit, and I ended up driving with one of my teammates at the time. And the worst thing about it was, when I got there, I thought I had booked my own room. This was like the first time I had ever really put together a trip for myself and booked the hotel and whatnot. So I was really proud. But we got to the hotel, and the one I thought I had booked, I had really booked a different like location. It was still in Orlando, but it was a different location. So that was not a great way to start the weekend. And then to top it all off, I got to that hotel and I had forgotten my ID. I had like left it in my dorm, and they wouldn't let me check in. They're like, you need your ID. So I was like on the verge of tears, and I ended up having to call my roommate, and I knew exactly where my ID was, and I had to like get her to like FaceTime and like show the ID to the hotel person to let me in. It was an awful start to the weekend. It ended up being okay, but it was just stressful more than anything.
Yeah. And stress plays such a huge role on how the physique
yeah.
looks too, especially if it's really
Yes.
close to show. Like one of my last shows of my 2021 season, I was so stressed out. I was just in my head about things. I knew I didn't look ready. I was not in a good place mentally. And I had like a major just cortisol dump the morning of the show. I probably pooped like 18 times that morning before
I
the
wish
show.
I had
Like,
that problem. I always
no,
have the opposite.
you don't.
Most
'cause
people
I
have
looked-
the opposite problem.
Yeah, it was not a good time at all. Like I was probably like, it happened so many times, and I was already feeling mentally not great, but I came up super flat. And I was like, I remember telling Paul like, hey, this is happening. And he's like, well, it's probably good, but like, just make sure that you're monitoring things. And like, staying full, everything. And I came out really flat because I was just so stressed and just looked like watery. And if you look at all of the stage shots from that show, I didn't smile in any one of them. Like, I normally am like really good at stage presence, but there was only one of them where I wasn't like, like with my mouth closed and like slight turn up of my mouth, but like everything else was just like I looked pissed as fuck because I was.
Oh, wait, what show is that?
Everybody.
Which show is that? So I can look.
Well, I'm curious. You said was it in 2021?
Yeah, it was like, the Texas Pro last year.
Okay.
Yeah, in hindsight, I did Orlando Pro earlier in the year in July, and
yes, I remember I was at that one.
Yes, you were. I think that was the first time I actually saw you in person.
Yes, and that's yes, it was, and that's why I asked, because I was road tripping with Steven and Paul that weekend. We came back from
after
Charleston.
Universe,
yes,
right, yeah,
Charleston, because that year it was like in July, and we stopped and saw you on the way back.
Yes. Yeah, for finals. Yeah, so Orlando, like we didn't quite hit the mark for it, and it was just clear that like I needed to be a lot leaner and just bigger too, harder. But we took a little break and then went back into prep, and in hindsight, I should have just stopped prep completely after Orlando and just went into an off season, but we learned things, and but yeah, it made for that first show back after Orlando in November just being super stressful because I was like, fuck, I made a mistake. I shouldn't do this show. I wish I wasn't doing this show. So, yeah.
Stress can ruin
I feel
it.
like everybody goes through like that type of show at some point in their prep career. And if you haven't, it's coming.
It's coming, for sure. And it might be...
I just did, so...
Yeah. When you did Tampa Pro?
Yeah.
What was your feelings about that? Why do you feel like you shouldn't have done it?
Well, I wouldn't...
Like, was it
I was doing it
stressful?
come hell or high water, but
Right.
it was... My body looked like it was just so stressed out. Like, it was just... It looked like I had been prepping for 6 years at that point. I mean, my conditioning was good. It was just, when a body looks tired.
Yeah,
And
tired and
I'm not
inflamed.
tired. I wasn't tired. My body wasn't tired. It was the cortisol and the stress and everything else that was
Cortisol makes a huge difference.
very much showing through there. And honestly, that's one of those things that, I was talking to a guy yesterday in the gym about this and how I had a mindset shift after like nationals of last year, where now I just take all the fault on myself, no matter what it is. And I just say, hey, I should have managed my stress better. I don't blame anybody else for it. It's like, this is on me. I made the decision to do the show. I knew I had a lot of stress going into it. I still did it. And so that choice is my choice. I did it. I don't blame anybody else for that stress. Like, I should have managed it better. And every day I felt myself getting more stressed. I would end up being more stressed because I was stressing about being
Oh my God,
stressed.
I'm stressing.
Yes. So
Yeah.
again, that's something I need to work on too, because as competitors, we all want to be the best we can be, right? And we all pour a lot into this. So, when outside influences and everything ends up happening with it, sometimes they can get to us. But I know
We
that's
can always
something
react
I need
to it
be
better.
with. Yes, always.
Yeah.
Like always,
Yeah.
I just internalize everything, and I don't blame anyone else. And I say, hey, this is on me. I need to do better with it. And go from there with it. So yes, I can 100% attest to a body changing because of stress very quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
And I think
within a
it's
matter of
like
days.
to that point of like taking it on yourself, even if, you think your coach made a bad decision or your coach did something that was like not ideal or not optimal for you, you still chose to follow it. And you still
it's your
chose
choice.
to like go through with the show, with the whole thing. You chose to not ask a question maybe. So it's ultimately, even though yes, you have a coach and you should listen to your coach, you should also listen to your gut and, make choices based on what you really know is right for you. And a big part of having success in that too is being really careful when you're choosing your coach. So when you get to that point, or if you ever get to that point, they're going to have your back and they're going to do the right thing, or be able to like shift for you or with you if you need that shift, right?
Yes.
So I think that's important in that kind of situation. And that'll reduce your stress load as well. Like if you
Absolutely.
aren't stressed about what your coach is doing, then that's much better than if you're stressed about what they're doing.
And this is
Yes.
something we could go on a whole episode about with it,
Yeah.
because I have this past year for me with coaches, and I coach myself now, and how kind of everything transpired into this is exactly kind of what you were talking about with that. It's putting your faith in other people and trusting them. But then at the bottom, the end of the road, it's my decision.
Mm-hmm.
It's my
Yeah, for
choice.
sure.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, and so there's now granted, like if you're a newer competitor, listen to your coach 100% of the time. Obviously, make sure he's a good coach first, but then listen to your coach. Not blindly, like ask questions, and if a coach won't answer your questions, then that's a big red flag, right? So, but you know, I've been doing this a while. Most of us have been doing this a while, and you know yourself and you know your body, and you know, going in blindly with things, I don't think is always the best choice.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think. Sorry, go ahead, Lexie.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I think, yeah, you have to do your part too. Like obviously the coach, you know, should help to alleviate stress. But I think like when I look back on it, the first show I did, like, was it smart for me to do a show that I had to like actually travel to when I didn't even have a car and when that was my first show? Like probably not. That definitely accumulated to my stress because I remember I felt like sick after the show. Like I used to get like stomach cramps when I would get overly stressed, and I got that. So I think you have to control what you can control too, and try to alleviate as much stress as you can if you know, in particular, that like you're a very stress-prone individual like me.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like you also learn from each experience too, and that can help reduce that stress, reduce the amount of embarrassing moments or mistakes that you make in prep. I know for me, one that I remembered while we've been doing this or recording so far, I think it was
I feel
the
like
show.
You have like a really funny story that you're hiding up your sleeve.
No, it is funny. I just totally forgot about it. I think because I blocked it out because of what I'll tell you about it. So it was the last amateur show I did before I went pro, and it wasn't a show I had to like travel very far to. It was a show in Washington State where I lived at the time. It was like an hour away from my house. So me and my husband at the time were driving down, and as you know, when you're in peak week, you have to have a certain amount of water, get that water in by a certain time. It's pretty important. So I was kind of behind on my water on Thursday night, and it was Thursday or Friday. I think it was Thursday. So I was kind of behind on my water, and I was we were driving to the show, and I had two big like 30-ounce things of water. Or no, they were like 50 ounces. So I needed to drink like 100 ounces of water from like 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And so I was like drinking it, and my ex-husband looks at it and he's like, "You're going to drink all of that right now?" And I'm like, "Not right now, but like I need to get it in." He's like, "We can't, like, do you need to go to the bathroom?" He was like kind of pissed already that he was like that we were going to have to deal with me needing to pee because he didn't want to stop, that kind of thing. And so
Did you piss in a jug in the car?
Nope, I didn't. I don't know how I would even fucking do that, first of all. I don't have a funnel just on me at all times, but maybe I do need one.
Prior planning.
Yeah. Next time I'll get a funnel. So I started drinking the water, and sure enough, like 40 minutes into the drive, I really need a pee. And we had taken a wrong turn. Like there's a bunch of construction around the area, like getting into the show, where the venue was. And I was like, I really need a pee. We need to stop right now. He's like, I fucking told you. He had anger issues. So he kind of was yelling at me. He was like stressing me out for sure. But I was like, no, I need to pee right now. Like, and I'd even told him like, I really need to not be stressed out right now. Can you just help me, please? Right. And so his only job was to be supportive. He was failing already. Anyway, so we get off the freeway somewhere, and we're in this really industrial area where there's literally nothing around. There's no gas stations. There's no like stores. There's just like trains and like box cars, like deserted warehouses, all sorts of things. And then one place I finally see, like it was in the middle of nowhere. It was like a little tiny walk-up burger joint. And it looked like something from a horror movie. It was like really dilapidated and just like terrible looking. And it was there's nothing else around. So I was like, well, let's stop there because I'm sure they have a bathroom. They'll let me use it. We get up to the burger place, and I was like, hey, I'm really sorry, but I really need to pee. I really please, can you let me use your bathroom? And the lady was like, oh no, we can't do that. Like the girls have their purses in there. And I'm like, I start bawling as soon as she said no. And I just start crying and I'm just sitting there and I have like my tan on too. And I looked crazy and really like, depleted and shriveled up, right? Because I was one day out. And so I probably looked super weird to her. She probably thought I was like a meth addict, especially because the area we were in. And I was like, I'm getting ready for a bodybuilding show. I really need a pee, please. And I just started crying and like blubbering to her. And she was like, okay, that's fine. Yeah, let me just get them to get their purses out. And I finally got to go to the bathroom. But that was like, yeah, that was probably one of the more embarrassing moments just in prep in front of people that don't understand prep, because I was just crying to a stranger that owned a burger joint and I wasn't going to buy anything because I was like, usually if there's, they say like a customer, you have to be a customer to use the bathroom, like I'll buy something, but I don't mind that, but I wasn't going to buy anything there. So I really just like wanted them to be kind, and she was about to not be that. And I was freaking out, but I got to go to the bathroom. It was fine. And then later at that same show, we get to the hotel and we're in and I'm like about to heat up my food. And I realize that neither of us grabbed my roller bag with all of my show stuff.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my God.
My ex-husband had to drive all the way home that night and get everything. And I just stayed at the hotel. And
I bet he was happy about that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he was.
Yeah.
Did he stop by the burger joint on the way back and get a hamburger?
I don't know. Maybe not.
I want to know how good those burgers were. That's what I'm interested in.
They might have been good. I mean, I'm going back to that show in a few weeks because I work at that show now. So maybe I'll look it up, but probably not.
Yeah.
It's probably like out of business by now. It was pretty.
Like
it was in pretty bad shape.
Literally, like that's a nightmare that competitors have, is that they forget their main suitcase.
Yes. I thought you were going to say it's a nightmare that competitors have about like having to go pee and not having a place to stop, because literally that is one of my fears. that has become one of my fears. Like anytime I have to drive somewhere long distance, I always go right before I leave, but I always have to go. Like even if I make the drive from Tampa to Orlando, which is supposed to be like a little over an hour, I always have to stop. To stop. And last year, my mom actually came with me to one of my shows. It was Janet's show. So it was about like a 4-hour drive. And we had to stop, I think, 4 times for me to go to the bathroom. And the unfortunate thing is one of the times we stopped, we had to stop at like this rest area. And we got back onto the highway. And we got turned around and she was like, got on the highway going the wrong direction. But it was like one of those highways where like you could not turn around for like 30 miles. So she ended up having to just kind of do the whole, like, we just found like a grassy spot and she just turned around on the highway. But my poor mom.
Oh, not a grassy spot for you to pee at?
Oh, no. I mean, you know what?
That's what I was thinking you were saying.
You know what, though? I'm not going to lie. I've done that before. Like, this was not in prep, but one time, this is like a totally other story. I just had to pee so bad. And I went up to a Publix. It was at night. And I didn't realize they closed at like 9 or 10. And so I just had to go. It was like there was no like getting in the car trying to find another spot. So I just kind of had to go behind Publix.
Sometimes
that was a little embarrassing.
Behind Publix.
Were you alone?
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Was someone with you?
I was with somebody. Yes, but like they didn't like I was like, okay, like we got back to my car. And because it was near downtown Tampa, and I just kind of used Publix as a spot to park my car. And so we got back, and I was like, all right, I'm going to run in and go to the bathroom really quick. And I go up, and I look in at the door, and they're like, they're closed. And I like freaked out. And like I said, there was no like me getting in the car trying to find a place. So I just went by myself, like behind, and did my That's why it's such a fear of mine. Anytime I have to go, like I go because I don't want it to get that bad. It was embarrassing, but
that's a good
we laugh
point.
about it now.
Once you
Since
flip
we're
that
talking
mental
about-
switch, you can go. There's no turning it off. It's
Yeah.
Oh, I know,
You gotta go.
I know,
Yes.
I know. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that now that I think about it, we're talking about peeing. On the way to that show my husband and I did together, he had to pee. It was like a 7-hour drive. He had to pee so bad and he didn't want to stop. So he had his like gallon water jugs that he had already finished. And so he just got in the back seat and pissed in those.
I mean, when you're a guy, it's a little easier to do that.
Oh, yes.
Like,
The
I don't
guys
put it
have
past him.
easy.
Like, okay, fine. If you really don't want to stop. But,
Yeah.
yeah. One time I did have a moment like yours, Lexie. It was not when I was a bodybuilder, but I was like driving home and I could not hold it anymore. I just got out of my car and like peed really quick just on the street.
Yep.
Like it was late at night. It was like probably 1 a.m. or something in Seattle downtown, and like no one was around. It was in like a neighborhood area, and I did that because I'm just like, once you know, you just gotta go. So.
That's common in Seattle anyway. So
yeah, it really is. Like
like
I
Austin.
remember,
it's like it's
just
running
walking
normal.
around, just in the broad daylight, you might see someone peeing on the street.
what's the
So it really wasn't that weird.
Yeah, it's normal.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, hey, perks of being hydrated, right?
I guess, yeah. One story, it wasn't that embarrassing, but I was like freaking out about it for sure. And it was at the Orlando Pro, I think. I was driving, I was in my Uber, and they wouldn't, at the Orlando Convention Center, they have that like rideshare drop-off point where they don't allow you to like, yeah, it's super confusing, and they only rideshare people, they only go under that area, and it's not covered to get from that area to the convention center. It's like maybe 20 feet of uncovered area, and it happened to be that it was like pouring down rain, and I pleaded with the guy to like drive around because I had my tan on, and he wouldn't. So I just had to get out, and I got super wet. My entire tan got fucked up, and I had done DIY too. But luckily, when you're a pro, they'll fix your tan no matter what. So that's nice, because I got in and I just looked like I had leprosy because I had all of these little pale spots all over me. But luckily they fixed it. But it was a little freak out moment.
I will tell you this. The biggest difference that I realized between like NPC and IPB, like when you turn pro, is how much more they care about you.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to the tan. It is a night and day difference. Like they will do every square inch. They don't ask questions. They are like here to help you. NPC, they're like, please get out of my way and give me my money.
Yeah. Do you have your wristband?
Yes. Do you have your wristband? Yes. No. It's like night and day difference on that. It's the biggest thing that I noticed. Yeah.
Even if you used a different tan too. Like I used liquid sun rays, and since I had it with me, like that's the only thing. You don't want to mix two different tans, but like the pro tan girls are always super nice, and they fix me up easily. So yeah, it's a nice thing, the difference.
Yeah, if it was NPC, they'd be like, I'm sorry, that's $200 to fix this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and they'll take it right there.
Oh yes, they will.
One little thing that I think we should point out, because we haven't mentioned it yet, with this being the first episode, it's really cool that we have an IFBB Figure Pro, an IFBB Men's Physique Pro, and then we have a couple of Bikinis girls on here too.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. We
Bikini
a good
future
diverse
pros.
Group.
Yeah.
Yeah. Future.
Manifest it.
Future
yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yes.
So a good variety.
Yeah, we do. And on the topic of tanning, really quickly, this isn't like an embarrassing story, but you know what's so funny? I feel like I'm so like taken back. Well, I guess not really taken back, but so many people are so surprised by how the tanning process works. Like the fact that obviously it's split up between females and males, but the fact that we literally as competitors go in there and you're just getting butt naked in front of, pretty much everybody and standing there while you're, drying. You're just making best friends while you are, butt naked. I know the first time I got tanned, I guess I wasn't really expecting that, but yeah, that's definitely a little bit of a shell shock if you're a first-time competitor.
Yeah. This sounds so terrible to say, but I always say that I feel like I'm in the Holocaust, like when I'm getting my tan, because you're just lined up naked with all these other skinny people.
They're just spraying it out.
Everyone looks emaciated.
It's not gas, it's tan.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure, it's same thing.
Yeah, same concept. Yeah.
But I always leave that room wanting boobs because I'm just sitting there staring at every
They are great. Let me just say, I'm really excited for when I get to prep and I have boobs and they don't disappear. Both me and Lexie recently, Lexie, yours like a year and a half, right?
Mine, yes.
Or 2 years?
But yeah, I got them, let me think, 2 days before Thanksgiving in 2020. So actually almost 2 years. But oh my gosh.
You competed last year.
Yeah. And yes. And like the biggest thing that I like, because before, like I just had nothing in general. Like, stage lean or not, I had nothing. I had like pecs. But what I enjoyed this past season was like my suit top. I didn't have to do anything with it. Like I didn't have to glue. I didn't have to like stuff. It went right on and it was perfect. So that was my favorite part about it.
I know that for those of you who might be listening as like newer competitors as females, like you typically like you're losing a lot of body fat, and boobs are made of fat, so you lose your boobs pretty much. Some people don't lose them as much as others, but generally if you don't have like if you have under like a C cup, you're probably going to lose most of that volume. And so us small, flat-chested, naturally people will we use all sorts of things. Like I think some people use rice to stuff our suits.
Yeah,
I
that
never
makes
really
it look a little bit more natural.
Yeah, I never really got into the rice. I feel like I never could get it to look right. So I used KH Customs. My suit sponsor uses like really nice pads. So they were really good. But then I've used like the stuffing from pillows or like stuffed animals before. Dani, what have you used? Have you used rice?
That.
Rice
so I do the I'm with Ravish Sands, and they do have a decent amount of like little padding that they send with the inserts, but I also do the rice on top of that, and you just got to really play with it and maneuver it around a lot. But I've gotten it, actually, no, this is kind of funny. There was one time I got it to look so good and so real. I legit had a girl message me on Instagram and was like, "Did you get a boob job the day before your show?" Like she was being serious.
Oh my
gosh.
Like she legit thought I went and got a boob job the day before.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you can create enough cleavage and like highlight it, you know, do all sorts of things, like people make it look really good. I never was able to do that because I really have no volume at the end of prep.
You got to be pretty motivated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some really good like transformations, but yeah, like I mean, I was like a negative AA cup, but like disclaimer too for those of you guys that are listening, you don't need implants to do well on stage. Like if that is your sole reason for wanting to get them, like you don't need them for stage. Yeah, but a lot of people like to just like stuff their top and whatnot to just give a fuller look because I don't know, it makes them feel more confident, or maybe it helps a little bit with just
it
like
might
the
help
complete
with silhouette
package.
And shape.
Yeah.
Because some people, judges might have told competitors in the past, like who don't have much at all up there, especially those who have like less chest development and they look like their chest is kind of caved in. That's when a judge will probably tell you like
breastfed.
Yeah, they might tell you to work some upper chest a little bit more, just work your chest in general so you can get a little bit more development and like volume up there. So like ladies, if you have that, like train chest, it can help. No, you're not going to get like big ass titties, but you're going to get a little bit of development up there and probably some cleavage when it's really just a chest split. So yeah.
I can testify. You could work your chest out all day and not get big ass titties. I can promise you on that because I've tried.
Exactly.
I've tried.
Evan, what do you think? Do you think you'll ever get boobs?
If it could make my chest grow, yes, I would do it in a heartbeat.
I mean,
yes.
Men get pec implants all the time.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's slightly frowned upon in this sport. So I'm going to have to steer clear.
Just a little bit.
Plus, I feel like chest implants for a man, they definitely would show a lot more under like being lean. Stage lean.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing with like a lot of implants that some people are careful about with how they choose what implant to get and how to get it, like under or over. A lot of people choose under, or they choose, specifically so that because of how it looks when it's lean. Because different types of implants will look slightly different for people.
Absolutely. And if you've been in the sport long enough, you can tell too what's what. Like it's pretty easy to tell with it.
The butt implants, I just can't.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, this is a story for another day. But
I don't know. I think it's perfect for today.
Yeah, like at least none of us have butt implants, so we don't have that embarrassing story about how our butt implant like moved on stage, right? I'm sure.
Have you guys ever seen that?
I have, for sure.
Have you guys ever seen that? I haven't.
I can testify that I know personally that there is a person who will not win big shows because of that.
Yeah. It sucks that people do that.
Not throwing names under the bus here, but it's... Yeah. I couldn't figure out why she didn't win.
And some people get, like, injections, too, that it's really hard to see, like, to know. But people will get... I forget, like, what I think it's... Is it Dysport?
BBL.
Well, I mean, people get BBL. That's different than an injection.
What's it called? It's like...
Well, people get fat transfer.
It's like fat
people
transfer,
get different things, but we
recommend
hard work and lifting heavy and taking a full off season to get glutes.
For guys
And
now, you can even
yeah.
actually
Yes.
get abs carved out where they actually remove the fat between your abs. So you have a six pack like 24/7.
What?
You can't
Yeah.
hold fat there anymore. So when you gain fat, it'll like go in
It
your
looks
hips.
really
You'll have
fucked
lady
up.
hips and like weird
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, I bet that looks
So
awful.
I was like, if I couldn't
Yeah.
do that, I would probably, because it's like a hour and a half outpatient surgery. I was like, and it's
Oh
not that expensive. I'm like, where do they do this at?
Nah, yeah.
I'm done
That's
with that.
insane.
You just get
Like,
leaner. and
Oh, a
build
lot
better
of people
abs.
have done it. Well, it like a lot of
Yeah.
guys like I don't have really deep abs, and it actually will make your abs deeper.
But
so
then what do
I
they
know
look-
there's a fair amount of guys that have done it.
really?
Because you'll
what do
never
they
be able
look
to.
like? What do they look like though? Have you seen what they look like when they do regain some of that body fat, like in their off season? Does it look
It just looks like
weird?
they still got a six pack. Yeah.
But
Really?
like a
just
fat
goes-
six pack.
No, like it doesn't have anything. Like, but their fat goes
Oh, that's
other
so
places. Like
weird.
it goes to their hips and their butt,
Oh.
and it
Oh,
like
yeah.
just shifts to other areas. Yeah, but they don't.
Interesting.
You just don't hold fat in your midsection anymore. It's very odd.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's very odd.
I mean, if I could do that and that would like make the fat go to my butt, I would be one happy person.
Yeah,
same.
I'm getting like I'm spouting ideas here, right? Yeah.
That or my delts. Yeah, the glutes or the delts. I would love to be able
I don't
to.
want fat in my delts.
You want fat
actually.
delts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you
no. Sorry. Okay. Not. Well, you know what? I don't really want like.
That's a long way for that fat to travel, Lexie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you're right.
true.
No, yeah, I don't want fat there, but I also don't want like I want conditioned glutes, but like big muscle there. So I don't know if I'd want the fat going in my glutes either. I don't know.
Yeah, I just want muscle.
I guess I'm
I
just
want all the
thinking for
muscle.
the sake of I am not stage lean. Like the majority of the time, I'm not stage lean. So when I think about the
Right.
body I want for the majority of the time, like a good,
Very
you know,
true.
nice off-season body that's not too whatever, like I don't know.
You
whatever.
wouldn't mind a
We're
little bit
going
more
down a
junk
really
in the
deep rabbit
trunk.
hole now.
what aesthetic procedure would we all do?
That's
Then
a
we
good
need to
one.
change the title of this podcast.
God.
If I now that I've gotten boobs, I think I would get a chin implant. It's really
Okay.
stupid, but I don't really have that much of a chin, and so I
Actually-
would
Let's
like
turn
a
to the
better
side.
jaw.
Turn to the side. Let's judge here.
Yeah, let
Yeah,
me see.
yeah, it's
Oh,
not.
your chin's
it's not
good.
that pronounced. It's
not
fine.
bad.
Like I'm not gonna be unhappy if I never get that. But if
You
I were
look
to
like a
choose
I will
cartoon
say-
character if you had a bigger chin. No,
just,
you're good.
No, it just needs a little bit just a better jawline. I would like a better jawline. That's all I
Okay,
want.
so I will say I had a client once that told me she was going to do that, and I was like, "Why?" Like I didn't
Like a
get
chin
it.
implant?
Yeah, and then
Okay.
she sent me a before and after. Not gonna lie, I was impressed.
They do some good work. They
Like
do.
it looked better. Not that she looked bad before, but after when I saw it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this actually looks
Yeah.
good." So I don't know.
That's why I really like my
Like
diet
to say
face
that,
because it's a
though.
little bit more chiseled.
Oh, I
Same.
hate.
don't-
I
like
look like
mine.
I look like a skeleton. It's like, oh my gosh, I look at
You
my
do.
videos. I know, and hopefully I won't be as bad like this next year. But like
It
I
gets
look
better
back.
every year.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm hoping.
I think it's because your eyes are so big.
I know.
Pro-
I think
probably
so.
why.
Jeez.
Well,
That's a good thing.
watch.
I want big eyes like Lexie.
I
She has
literally
beautiful
watch-
eyes.
Your eyes are so big, you look like a skeleton. It sounded
Well,
great.
when you're
Thank
really
you.
lean, if you have big eyes and
Yeah,
or like
keep
big
saving
facial
yourself.
feature, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go all in. If you have big facial features, when you have diet face, like it just looks more like it makes them look even bigger. I think.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
I cannot go back and watch. Well, I mean, I do occasionally, but Paul and I did like a series last year during my prep on his YouTube, and I cannot watch it because my face is so tiny, and I'm like, oh my
Whoa,
god, I look,
yeah.
I'm like, whoa, and now people are probably gonna go back and look at that. But yeah, my face, definitely, I'm not a fan of my diet face at all.
I can
Well,
tell you
Evan-
this. I got Botox done before
Yeah,
my
Some
show.
Botox.
Yeah, some Botox done. So
Botox.
I got talked into doing it, and after I did, I was like, I'm 100% gonna always. This stuff's awesome. But
do you do
the wo-
it? Where do you do it at? Your forehead?
Oh, like forehead, but the last they did it under here, and because
your
it was
eyes.
like 2 weeks before Junior Nationals, and I looked like a skeleton, and so she thought it was an issue with like my skin, so she put it under here,
Oh my
and it
gosh.
fixed all that.
Oh,
It was
wow.
crazy. Like it took that whole like skeleton face I get when I get real dieted down. It took it all away.
Wow.
But the worst part is I have to
Okay.
get it done like every 2 months because my metabolism just burns straight through it. So
Yeah.
it's
Bodybuilders
pretty
typically, like men and women, have to get it more often than most people. I think most people it's like every 3 to 4 months or something like that. If you want to like keep it looking the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
Danny, do
I
you
think
get
so.
Botox? If you're comfortable telling us.
Okay, so I
okay if you're
finally caved and got it for the first time. I've never admitted this. I finally caved and got it for the first time like a month ago. and
Yeah.
I did just a little bit on my crow's feet, I'm addicted.
It's
Okay,
great.
no, I'm not addicted.
It's great.
But I was thoroughly impressed with the results. Like I knew it was going to help, but I mean, literally it's gone. I don't do my forehead or anything. I feel like I kind of have a baby face there. The women in my family, I will say genetically, they all look way younger than what they are. So I don't need to do my forehead or anything right now, but I did just do my crow's feet and I freaking love it.
I've
I'm
never gotten
incredibly
it done,
excited.
but I'm excited. One day I'll get it.
I'm going to send you a before and after, and
Yes,
you're going
please
to
do.
shit your pants, because I was like, I won't say that I was totally against it. I just felt like it wasn't something that I felt like I had to do, or like, I don't know, was like lacking that type of confidence to do. But since becoming a mom, sleeping a lot less, definitely like higher stress levels these days, not as in control of stuff, and that stresses me out. I have more wrinkles and like circles under my eyes, and so I'm just like wanted to do something for myself. So Kyle got it for me for Mother's Day to try it out, and I freaking loved it.
Well, shout out to my sister.
Good job,
She is
Kyle.
opening a clinic now in Woodstock, Georgia, doing it. So when I go home,
cool.
I get to get it for much
Free
cheaper.
Botox.
You know,
Or
Oh, I
cheaper.
love that.
at cost
Awesome.
at least. So yes, no, I'm like,
Yeah.
I told her I'll be coming up in the next couple weeks. I'm like, order it now, please.
Yeah,
Shoot
that's
me
what
up.
I need. I need like a friend here in Dallas who does it. Anyone, let me know. DM me.
Yeah, yeah.
There's actually somebody in my building. He's a physician, like in the ER, and he's starting to like go off on the side. He wants to eventually start his own practice. So he's always like trying to get me to come up and do it. My mom goes to him now, and
Come
she
to my
like,
apartment, get some Botox.
I know,
It's
like,
not,
it's-
it's not weird at
okay.
all.
it does sound very sketchy. I know, but
Kinda like
my
those random B12 shots you were getting at that show.
okay, that was I'm here today, right? So no.
I didn't die? Is that what you're saying?
I got 2 of them too. So yeah, no, but my mom actually went to this guy, so like, and she's loved her results. He is a physician, so it's not like he's just some random Joe doing it. But I understand it does sound a little odd that like he's doing it in his apartment. Like, all right, let me go down. I think he's a couple floors below me, but like, let me go downstairs and get my Botox. You know, it just sounds kind
Yeah,
of
just share your location with a friend. Make sure you're safe.
right. Yep.
I thought about
Yep.
just getting it myself because I'm sure I could get it, and learning how to like
Oh
watch
my
YouTube
gosh,
videos and just do it myself. I've considered
Of
it.
course you
It
did.
can't be that hard.
Oh my
Let us know how
gosh.
that goes.
Yeah,
It can't be
please
that
do.
hard.
Take a before and after.
You can figure it out.
Yeah,
you can learn
probably.
anything on YouTube.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
true.
you're right. Well, this conversation, I like, this is funny. I hope people enjoy this. I feel like it's just very casual and informal, and I feel like I like listening to podcasts like this where you can just kind of laugh with the crew. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully
Lexi's
people are
fun.
still here listening by this point.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's see. I was gonna try and scroll through our text the other day because I was trying to remember of a podcast you told me about a while back. It was, what's the name of the one you told me about? Where the girls are talking about the people they had sex with.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this makes me sound so bad. No. Okay. So, first off, let me just start off by saying we all have like that one guilty pleasure, like show, right? Or like podcast or whatever. But
Disclaimer. Just so
But
But
Yeah.
disclaimer, my friend actually, she's going to be listening to this. Shout out to Jess Stahl. She was listening to like Des B's podcast. And it's called Brunch with Des B, but it's like she has these confessions episodes where people will anonymously write in like just confessions, and they always end up being these like dirty things, and she just reads them out. And
No,
I don't know.
thought it was a different one. Wasn't there another one a while back you listened to that was like the entire podcast was about dudes that the girls slept?
No, that was just, I think the one I told you about.
Sounds
I'll
like
go back
Barstool
and
Sports
look.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just this like series, this podcast. It wasn't all of her episodes were like that, but she would occasionally do them. It was just like her followers would anonymously write in their confessions, and I don't know. I listened to it actually. I think when I was in prep, it was just so like entertaining and laughable, and
I think when you're in prep, so many things are entertaining that like out of prep sometimes are not. Not
Yeah.
that
I'm the
was
opposite.
it might be entertaining still,
sure.
but yeah.
No,
But
I'm the
Evan, you
opposite.
said the opposite.
When I'm in
Except
prep,
for
like
sex.
nothing can hold my attention like at all. Like
do you
I'm
guys
just
get prep brain? Do you get prep
constantly
brain
miserable.
really bad?
Definitely.
Yeah.
What happens to me mostly is like my my like meter runs out earlier in the day. So I try to like, for work at least, I try to bring like as many of the important things early in the day so that I don't have to like risk fucking something up in the afternoon or I can like just focus on my training in the afternoon. Because towards the end of prep, when I'm like getting really lean and food is really low, that kind of thing, it just gets rough. I also tend to like lose motor function a little bit. Like I drop a lot of things. I don't know if that happens to you guys, but like I will just drop things all the time. I don't do that as much in real life or in regular life outside of prep. But I still do it a little bit. I'm just not a super graceful person, but yeah, I will definitely drop a lot of things. What else? I lose a lot of things too, especially in prep. Like I'll just leave things behind. When I lived in Washington, the gym I went to, my home gym, was like my best friend and her boyfriend's gym. And so luckily it was okay that I left things there. But they would always play a little game while I was in prep, like, what's Rachel gonna leave behind this time? And it would be like a shirt on the floor somewhere, my earphones, my shoes, one shoe, my belt, or like all sorts of things. So yeah,
past 1 p.m. Don't ask me a question that's anything serious. It's gonna be bad. And then yes, like my motor skills go out the window. Like if I'm in a shower, I'll drop everything. Like everything. It's bad. It gets real bad. But I don't know about you guys, but like the first show I'm like that. But if I run multiple shows, I get better every single time. It's never the first show is really hard. But after that, I feel like it's
once you get there, easier. I think you can like manage things a little bit better, and the stress and the pressure is off a little bit. Yeah. So I think we all get stressed about that first show, and then if you were actually good and you did well at that first show, or you did like okay enough that you're okay, like you're confident about moving forward after that, then it's just a lot easier after.
Yeah, the most fun I had was last year. I just decided the day before, like Mel Chansey had a show in Tampa, and I decided the day before, screw it.
I remember that.
And the whole reason I did it is because there was a guy I met Paul actually up at Powerhouse, and there was a guy that I'm not gonna name any names, but he's like, I work so hard, and the dude does not. And I knew he was doing it. I knew I'd be in his class, and I'm like, why not? So I jumped in there. Yeah.
I think wasn't that around the time that we had like a Pro Physique experience, Ben?
Oh, Christmas
It was a Christmas party.
It was a Christmas party, yeah. Because I think that was when I first met you in person, Evan. Yeah, it was that day. Because I saw you at Powerhouse with Paul. We were all there.
Yeah, oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Paul's like, you gonna do it? I'm like, sure, I guess. Maybe. I just decided to go do it. Yeah. And I had a blast. Like, it was fun.
I
went home, put on a tan, went and did it.
Yeah, those are the most fun because you're not stressed. Like, you're just kind of like, well, it is what it is. Like, if I don't do well, whatever. I just decided to do this yesterday.
I didn't peak. I didn't do anything. And honestly, that's probably like one of the best I looked too.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's kind of what I did last year with Tampa Pro. I didn't decide I was going to do it until that Wednesday before.
Oh, yeah.
But I was already, like, I had done a show the week before, but I just didn't want to leave off the season on that note, so I just decided a couple days before to do it, and showed up, and it ended up being fun. Like, it wasn't as stressful, so to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no stress because you just jump in, you know?
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a funny story I thought of. It's not an embarrassing story, but I think any competitor will understand like the state of mind that you're in at this point. So it was, again, from the first prep that my husband and I did together. It has to do with peanut butter again. So at the end of the day, he always, you have your thing that you look forward to at the end of the day, that your little treat that you have before you go to bed, whatever it is. You do the same thing over and over every day for weeks. His was a tablespoon of peanut butter. And he was looking forward to it. And I had just used, right before that, the tablespoon to measure out some salsa and put it on whatever I was eating. And I didn't wash it off. And he didn't know that. And so he, put the tablespoon in the jar of peanut butter, whatever. And then he tasted it, and it was salsa and peanut butter combined.
Oh, God.
I thought he was going to kick me out of the house because I ruined
the peanut butter.
And
he already had it, right? It was in his mouth. He couldn't do anything about it.
Right. And so it's like the macro remorse thing, but he can't undo it, and it tasted like crap. And now we laugh about it to this day. It's like one of those stories that we joke about because
get your own fucking spoon.
Yeah, get your own spoon or fucking clean it off. Like, he was so mad at me.
Yeah,
My
when
personal
irritability
responsibility.
gets really high in prep, I think, especially if you're living with
For
someone
sure.
and they either, even if they do understand, but especially if they don't understand the whole prep thing. Like if you guys were in prep together, so it was a little different,
Yeah.
but like where you have your
Well,
own
he
little.
totally did it to me. Like there was a time when I was looking forward to my cottage cheese when I got home, and I got home and it was gone, and I was very upset.
No,
So
no, not cool.
But yeah,
What
prepping
are your,
together.
what are your
that-
guys' guilty pleasures?
Like food wise?
Yeah, like do you have something that you have each day that you like look forward to? I have one.
I mean, in prep, I really look forward to my coffee. I look forward to that no matter what, but it's like a very special thing is my coffee in the morning. But other than that, I typically will always have a yogurt bowl during prep and off season, but like a yogurt bowl with some like protein powder, strawberries, granola, and like peanut butter. I usually save about like 15 to 20 grams of fat for that. And then the rest of my fats are like spread out in like other sources throughout the day. But I always look forward to that last meal that's kind of a dessert type meal. And it's like if someone bothers me or tries to talk to me during the time that I'm eating that meal, I get so pissed. I'm like, the meal is about to be ruined if you open your mouth again.
Don't talk during that.
Just
It's a
let me
process to
enjoy it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want to have a conversation. We
No.
can have a conversation literally in 2
After.
minutes when I'm done with this because I'm going to eat it that fast, but like not during. And I don't want, like, I want to be able to see my food too. So like, if it's really dark in the room, I'll literally like use my phone to like see the bite I'm about to take because I want every bite to be the perfect bite that I want in that moment. So yeah, I'm very particular about that last meal.
Danny, what
when
about
I'm
you?
in prep, I get very like obsessed with breakfast, and so I'll get on kicks. Like I'll do a protein pancakes with all this like fruit syrup, peanut butter on top of it, protein French toast, or I'll do like an egg white omelet and then some like turkey bacon and then some like toast or pancake. Like I make very elaborate breakfast, and so I'm that same way, Rachel. Like if somebody's trying to bother me when I'm eating breakfast, no matter what it is, I'm like I just give them the death stare. I'm like, just stop talking.
No, just don't.
No.
Don't ruin
We're
this.
on the same page with this one. Lexie, what about you?
So I have two. So in prep, one thing I did is I would do this like in the evening, the early evening. Every day I'd have my serving of peanut butter, and I know this sounds a little odd, but I would keep it in the freezer and then I would eat it just like frozen like that, and it was like peanut butter fudge. It was so good. I would look forward to that, and I had my protein fluff every night. So I would blend protein powder, ice, and water in a blender like for 5 minutes, and it would fluff. And then I would dip rice cakes in it, and that was my jam. I know it sounds. I mean, I don't know if it sounds weird.
It just sounds so unappetizing.
It was.
I was
so
good until the
blunt.
rice cake dip, but
Yeah,
Oh,
the
you
rice
know,
cake, no.
I understand that part sounds kind of weird, and that's something I ended up adding on to it. I think I just wanted like a crunch, but I would just dip it in there, and it was so good. It hit the spot every night.
my big one is right before the last meal, I would sit down on the couch and I would make oatmeal. Like whatever my carbs were, I would have my oatmeal and I'd have like my beef. And before I got to like the last couple of weeks, I would make it obviously with the protein in there, protein powder, but I cut that out like a couple of weeks before the show. And then same thing, I put my magic chocolate bars in the freezer, which are edibles. And I pull off a couple pieces of my edibles and I drop them in there and I mix it in with the hot oatmeal. I live in Florida. I have a medical card, people, so this is all legal here. And if anybody, I have to have a process. I sit down, I put it on a plate, I put it on my lap, I put it on a bowl, then I put it in the plate, and then I turn on the TV, and I have to have a show that I'm watching.
Yeah, you have to have it picked first.
I have to have it picked.
You can't be
cannot
picking
take
while
my first bite.
Yeah.
No, until that show is going. And then don't talk to me until I'm done
love
eating
it.
this, which will take about 15 or 20 minutes. Because
We're
I
so
go around the
crazy.
edge of the bowl and just barely take it and eat it and barely take it.
Or if you're like me, I have like a little, like a mini spatula that I'll use to like get all of the things out of the bowl.
Oh, I have this
That's what your
tiny
tongue is
miniature like baby spoon that I use.
Yeah,
too. Like
baby
it's the smallest
spoons
spoon on the
are
planet.
key as well, for sure.
Yes, that's mine. That's definitely mine.
I got to a point on my last prep where my pre-workout, like I had whatever meal it was, but I would also have a caramel rice cake with peanut butter, honey, salt, and a purple Monster. It had to be the purple one. And it was
What flavor
Purple
is
one's
that?
really
Is it
good.
grape?
It's grape.
Yeah.
I do like
It's
grape.
very
my favorite.
good.
So like every day for my prep, and on my last one, I would have that rice cake with the Monster every time before. Now whenever I have it, it like
Brings
takes
it
me back.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, like makes like
Yeah.
nostalgia for sure. Yeah.
Well, I think we got a good episode here. I think that kind of sums it up, all of our embarrassing stories. Hopefully you guys were slightly entertained here. But thank you all for listening. Thank you for supporting the podcast. We really appreciate ratings, comments, reviews. Share it on Instagram. Let us know, any of us, or go straight to the Pro Physique Code on IG and let us know if you have any subjects that you want us to talk about that are specific to prep and bodybuilding, because we want to hear them, because we want to give you what you want. So any closing thoughts from you guys?
I enjoyed it.
I did
This one
too.
time I forgot I sat on the toilet. Sorry, it's not another good story. It was after prejudging. Thank goodness, it was at Junior Nationals. I went into the bathroom, and a tan doesn't matter as much at that point. You can still touch it up, but the toilet was broken and I didn't know it, and water had been coming out. It was like had covered the surface of it, but the lights were really dim, so I couldn't see it. Sat down on the toilet because prejudging was over. And when I came out, like my entire butt and legs were just like white and
Like the
wet
stripe.
and dripping.
Yeah.
And then we had to go take team photos after that. But then it was just like a big funny joke. So
Was that in Chattanooga?
no, that was when it was still in Chicago.
Okay, because
it's
when
been
you
a
said, I was
few
like, they was really dark in the bathrooms at Chattanooga too. So I was like, is that the same
Yeah.
bathroom? I guess not.
Yeah.
No.
Fair warning, anyone trying to pee on like when you are tan, might as well just squat over the toilet as
Yeah.
a female. Squat over the toilet. Don't even touch it. Don't touch it at all. If you can't squat over the toilet, then you probably should spend more time squatting. So
Well, I had just got, definitely. Like I said, this was a Junior Nationals. I'd gotten third call outs, and I was just like, fuck it. I'm
Yeah.
sitting. I'm tired
fuck
of
it, I'm
squatting.
sitting on this toilet.
And it was
Fair.
soaking wet, and I was like, you've
Ugh.
got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
So, but get
On
the
that
funnel
note.
too. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for listening. We will see you on the next one. Pro Physique Code out.
Bye, guys.
Bye.